Good morning once again, my kind and loving compadres of model railroading. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a backdrop paint. Nothing special, just keeping my fingers warm in painting, giving you a little bit of insight into what I do and how I do it. Now remember, this is not how to do it. This is the way that I do it. Everybody's got different ways of doing it. Now, when I paint, usually I use oil paints. These guys over here. I don't like acrylic paints. Acrylic paints are made of plastic, and when you're done, they look like plastic. Now, that's just my opinion. I've got my palette all set up so I didn't have to bore you guys with squirting paint out. I've got yellow ochre, burnt sienna, Van Dyke brown, and raw umber. Then I have white. This is not black. I refuse to use black. This is a Payne's gray, which is a mixture of raw sienna and ultramarine blue. It's richer, it's deeper, it's better. Then over here we have sap green, a little bit of an olive green, and a light green. The yellows are a cadmium yellow pale hue, a Naples yellow, and a cadmium yellow medium. Now, this one, be careful. It's a very dominant color. That is the Naples yellow. You can go with anything. Now you'll see that you don't have any red or blue down there. I'm painting landscapes. Minimally painting, as you can see and you have seen in the past, that we just do as little as humanly possible to set the scene a little bit. Now, in looking at where I'm going to be painting, my building will be going on top of that loading dock. And I just want to put stuff up in behind it to make it look like there's something back there, not just boom, drops off into blue. And you see this line right there, that's the roof line. So what I do is I go down a little bit from the roof line, and that way I don't have a little obnoxious little strip of blue there. It just comes out better. It makes it look like the building is set into the scene. Now, what I'm going to start off with, also I use a lot of paper towels. Now, brush, Gamsol, painting mediums, linseed oil. Maybe I use them, maybe I don't. I haven't gotten to that point of knowing when I have to use them. Today, I know when I have to use them. I'm a painter. But in painting, I grab sap green, spread it out a little bit. Now with oil paints, they stay for quite a while. They stay in this form, and they're very easily, if they start getting thick, brush cleaner and paint thinner will knock them down. Now my brush is a very small filbert that I use, and I just touch like this. It's boring, but then if you've seen my things before, you know that a lot of things in railroad can get to be boring, tedious. This I put down in sap green. I use sap green because it's about as close to the color of green that Woodland Scenics uses. See, and I'm going up and over the line. This won't be seen. If I want to do this, I get a little touch of the light green in there. Put that down here and there. I don't have red on the canvas or on the palette because what it does with greens is it thins it out. If I'm doing a hillside way in the distance and I want it grayed out, then I will use the red. Red grays out the greens. Now you can see what's going on there. And I'll show you up close and personal here in a minute. I'll change camera angle so you can see what's going on from here and get in a little bit closer to it. Now, on my layout, what's behind, this is Parkersburg Rig and Reel. And what's behind it is the Little Kanawha River Valley. Little Kanawha River runs from Midwest Virginia, western West Virginia, to the Ohio River, where it joins the Ohio River. One thing you got to know about painting trees is that they're not solid. Trees aren't solid. You will see blue in between them. And I just keep doing this. I don't stroke, I dab. Ruin more brushes that way, but it's how I do it. And this is sap green. Now this, use a lot of paper towels too. A lot of paper towels to get the globs off. This is a different color of green, just to change it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to move this in a little bit, the camera in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Sorry. Let's go over to this side and see what happens. It's not on the most stable of platforms, but then neither am I. Now you see how dark that is? My railroad is set in July. As a matter of fact, July 14th is the day that I operate on. 1971, for a very specific reason. That's the day my father died from a heart attack. It upset me to no end because I was in the Navy at the time and I could not be with him when he died. So that's one way I honor my father, is by having my railroad, one of my greatest joys in life other than my family's and my music and my art, is the lost my train of thought. I get to thinking about Dad and I just, yeah, you know how it is, guys. If you've lost a parent, you know. And this is about all I really do with it. I just put up a different color, maybe a little bit of yellow here and there to brighten up the leaves at the top. Now you'll say, you put a lot of paint on. Well, yeah, paint's cheap. Paint is cheap, inexpensive type cheap, not cheap constructed, inexpensive type cheap. And I just keep doing this. And you can see that just blending it in would ruin it. When you do this, you get variation. Trees are not solid one shade of green. Trees have differences. Every once in a while you get here I'll stick some yellow ochre in. Makes it look like there's some starting to change a little bit because of weather conditions, not because of fall. We still got 2 months to go in summer here before it even thinks about getting to be fall. But you got to have the variation. It makes for a little bit better. Don't worry about it being perfect. It is never going to be perfect. And just whatever colors suit your fancy, hit it with it. Put it down, smack it around, daub it on. Because that's the nice thing about the filbert brush, is it's got a rounded tip to it. It's called a filbert because it resembles a filbert nut. Seriously. They taste terrible, but they got a good shape to them. And this is all deciduous trees. Hopefully you can hear my music playing. Always have music playing down here in the train room. It's just what I do. I was a musician at one time, majored in music in college, among other things. Got my degree in nursing. Seriously. I was a registered nurse in Minnesota for, almost 30 years. And I loved it. Hurt my back, had cancer, couldn't do it anymore. I was a Navy corpsman during Vietnam. Yeah, I'm that old. You can still see that line where I want to try to dip down below it because that's the top of the roof line. And I want it to look like there's something down here and that it continues down below. And like I said before, keep getting the blue come through. Makes life a lot better. Now I take this to be relative to painting scenes for theater. I've done a little bit of that in my checkered past too. You don't want to make it so detailed that it takes away from the actors on stage. Where is the stage? The entire layout is the stage, in my opinion. And who are the actors? The actors are the trains. See, now my lighting is not all that good in here. That's one of the things that I got cheap on. I just wanted to be able to see it. I mean, this has only been about a year and a half at the most, year and a couple months. I started it at the beginning of July in 2019, right after my, at that time, girlfriend moved into the house. She allowed me to bring my stuff from my studio and set it up down here. It was a mess. Then we got married, and I was able to work here a little bit more full time. Yeah, I'm a painter, so I have a studio. Yeah, this takes a long time. And you do have to take breaks. You can't just do this all the time. I know that for a fact. I've worked hours on paintings, and you can see exactly where I started getting tired. Now, you don't have to do just trees. You can do rolling hillsides. You can do, you can put buildings in the back if you want to. That's fine. Anything's fair game. It's what you want. There is no protocol as to what has to go where. And that's about all I really do with it. I'm going to show you a couple of other spots that I have done to show you the rolling hills of West Virginia. Yes, my railroad is set in my hometown, Parkersburg, West Virginia. I'm a historian. I do drawings and paintings of the buildings here in Parkersburg because I can. Now I'm going to be closing this down here pretty quick. Yeah, I've got about another, I don't know how many hundreds of square feet I've got to paint. And I also do clouds, but that's another subject for another time. So, you've got the list of pigments that I use. Mostly I use the sap green, the lemon yellow, or what did I call it? Cadmium yellow pale. Cadmium is a little bit bolder of a color. That's this one here. Little bit of, just add highlights. Can't just be solid green. Like when you were in grade school, you made the trees solid green, didn't you? Yeah, I know you did, because I did too. But after years of going to art school at University of Minnesota, I got a little bit different point of view on things. At the time, it was purely abstract. I don't do abstract. Well, anyway, that's about it. I'm going to back up. I have to clean my brush, faithfully clean my brush after every session. I usually paint a lot longer, but I want to show you a few things. I want to show you what this is going to look like from a distance. And when you see it up close and personal, yeah, see, there's the rolling hills. Too bad they're going to be covered, but that's old for me. Then it comes over to this. Sorry about the crack. This is Acme Fishing Tool Company. How it dips down and goes up along behind to make it, gives you that proportion and that feeling of it being set into. There's more of that. Sorry, the lighting is just a little harsh. I'm still working on this area. But that's what I do. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Poke the like button if you want to. I don't demand it. Let's just have fun doing stuff. That's it for now. I'll be back later on today with